Well, retailing is never easy, but in the 21st century, it's especially tough because we're in the area of Walmart and the internet. It's a very difficult thing to be a successful small retailer these days. That's why I'm happy to introduce you this morning to Russ Daub. We're out here in Rockbrook Village in Omaha, Nebraska. My name is Lynn Hinderrocker, and this is NxBizSuccess. Russ Daub, welcome to NxBizSuccess.
Thank you for having me.
Russ supervises, manages, and owns the shopping center. It's 30 years old. He's involved with over 60 retailers right out here in the West Omaha area. And Russ has enormous insight that if you're interested in retailing right now in the 21st century, Mr. Daub can help us out a great deal. Russ, when people come to you and talk to you about a lease, let's walk this way, talk to you about a lease or they want a bay or whatever, what do you look for in their background and what sends up red flags? What's an issue if you're a retailer?
Well, you look for somebody who's thought something out well, that has actually got a skill and a sense of grit and work ethic that says that they've thought something out, they've seen the market, they've got the skills themselves, and they have tried to decide that they can apply it to a small specialty concept.
Right.
So that when you deal with them, you're looking for somebody that is that thinks, understands numbers, has some capacity to see that they can get things done themselves.
Right.
They have to be able to work well with people. You're looking at modern concepts of networking and communicating and writing and advertising. The small retailer does all this themselves.
Yeah.
So they've got to have that skill. If they're going to farm it out and if they're going to hire people to do it, generally that's a bad sign.
Okay. Let's walk ahead here because Rockbrook Village is an unusual, eclectic lifestyle shopping center, as I said, consisting of 60 small retailers. So Russ, you've seen everything. You've seen them come and go. You've seen all the concepts. What is the single biggest issue when a retailer doesn't succeed? They're in here 6 months or a couple years and they can't make it. What's usually the problem in their case?
Well, in the beginning, it's simply poor thinking. It's not planning, not really putting together a good business plan that's got good, well thought out parts. It's not just site location, it's the financing part, it's the concept part, it's the competition part,
right?
It's the marketing part. If that starts out and it's well done and well thought out, then you've got a good opening chance.
Right.
The couple years later, it's mostly what fails is the person's grit or approach slows or changes, or they run out of money or don't keep their plan in place.
Yeah. Do they have a tendency to get all wound up about their concept and their niche and they're excited about it and then 6 or 8 months later they get kind of worn down or they just don't have the energy and the drive to sustain it?
Well, the ones that are really successful in the very beginning, it was clear they're willing to work 5 days, 7 days a week, they're willing to work nights, they're willing to do all the parts.
Right.
And then what happens is, what you see many times is that something causes them to slow down. Now they may have the assumption that it's all going to just come to them.
Right.
Okay? And that's a front end error too. It doesn't. They go get it, they network to get it, they advertise to get it, they cooperate with other relating merchants to develop more ideas and more marketing.
That's very interesting. You talk about cooperation, and I've learned a lot about strip malls as ecosystems, really, where they're almost symbiotically involved and they cooperate together informally or formally. What's the deal there? Do you actually, as a manager of the mall, incorporate that kind of stuff, or do you leave it up to them to do that? How important is that?
Well, it's hugely important. If you said that that small merchant has to align all of the elements that he can get to succeed. It just can't be one or two. They've got to get all the parts. So when you look at where that person locates, it's not a money issue as much as it is how many more things can the piece of real estate give to that merchant to help him succeed.
It's like that 2 + 2 = 5 thing.
Yeah, and it's like 8 or 9 because a piece of real estate can add 8 or 9 levels of value to a tenant if you look very carefully at it. One of the biggest ones is as they position themselves, they've got to position themselves next to other merchants that actually
serve the same customer?
Well, it's the same customer. Many times they cooperate on advertising. Many times they're looking at providing something to a relative of that customer.
Right.
Many times they want a good example is a men's store. Why is it logical for a men's store to locate next to an Italian restaurant? The answer is the Italian restaurant drives affluent customers, men and women. The men and women will stroll through the men's shop, and you get value from that right away.
You know what? I think it's different. I'm going to disagree with you. I think they go in and they eat great food and they feel fat, and then they walk by the men's store and say, "I got to buy a new suit. I'm going to grow out of my existing suit."
And then I'll agree with you because that's why there's a tailor right next door.
Oh, there you go. You got to adjust the suit up. All right, that makes sense. Now, when people bring a business plan to you, they got the numbers all laid out. What do you look for right off the bat? Is it expected projected revenues? Is it their costs? They're not taking into consideration trends? I mean, how do you look at a business plan and say, that one's good, that one's bad?
It's just, it's not a presentation, it's not a boilerplate deal. What happens is you look for the parts of it and you really want to see if the merchant knows the deal and knows why he's going to compete well, knows why he's selected a location, and it comes out of the document. If it's been written by a CPA or a lawyer or somebody else, a relative, and that person's going to run the store doesn't understand that plan, it'll get shelved right away. It will not be the blueprint to run the company, and you know right away that it's just a thing that's been generated to make it look good.
Yeah.
So you just pull the parts out. It's thinking, it's competition, it's the numbers. If the initial presentation does not show a correct amount of reserved capital, because the problem is if they spend all their money up front, then you can't sustain it. You can't build it.
Aren't they assuming that revenues will grow and people will come in and it'll be great and we're going to break even in a couple, 2, 3, 4 months and we'll just work on our operating? Does it work like that?
No, if they make that assumption, then it's the wrong thinking. What they have to do is the plan has to show a very slow, very methodical growth plan. And it's true that when they open, many times they have front-end kicks. The numbers look good.
Yeah.
But you know, many businesses are seasonal. You got to look at the numbers and see if the seasonal feature, you know they're going to go to market, and if their plan doesn't show they have a capital reserve to fill that buying gap, to let the process. Another one's very common. This is a time when people expect discounts and sales.
Right.
If their plan does not show the effect of discounting or sales in order to compete, then their numbers are wrong.
Sure, they don't take that into consideration, and yet it's what's required maybe to get them in the store.
Right.
Yeah.
And it used to be, very simply, it used to be that a very fundamental business plan and a good balance sheet would get the store open. That's not true anymore.
Right, this is a tougher era.
Yeah.
Well, Russ Dobb out here at Rockbrook Village in West Omaha, Nebraska. This has been an insightful dialogue. I'll tell you what, if I were going to open a retail store today, I think you're the first person I'd probably want to talk to.
Well, I'd be glad to help you if you want to do it.
Okay. Thank you, Russ Dobb. Okay. This is NxBizSuccess. It's been a great insight. If you're going to be a retailer, make sure you get the advice, lots of capital, and be prepared to stick it out. This is Lynn Hinderacher. Keep going and keep growing.